welcome back to the channel. Good afternoon. How y'all doing? Hope everybody's having a wonderful time wherever they are. I guess you could say we having a wonderful time too. As you can see, I'm in a different location, right? And I know y'all been waiting for an update for a while, and so here we are today. I will say, first I want to just kick it off and say again, thank you to each and everybody who have sent good wishes, love, good vibes, things for the nursery. If you haven't put two and two together, yes, I'm at the hospital right now, right? But I will say that over the past 9 months, when we first made this announcement, we knew it would be a journey, and I would say it's been a roller coaster. But let me bring somebody else in here. That way she can help walk us through the past couple months. So I know y'all haven't seen her for a while, but let me get a slice. Come in here. Are you there?
I'm coming.
You coming? All right. Look a little busy behind the crib. Yeah, miss you. So as you can see, Slice is looking a little less what's the word? Plump, I guess.
Well, that only applies to the people who saw me in person.
Correct.
If you saw me in person, you knew.
So the reason why we're here, we've been long awaiting the arrival of baby Pine, and everybody has been sending, just the thoughts, the prayers, the good vibes, and helping us get through this journey, right? Back in November when I found out, over the moon, we were both ecstatic. We waited a long time, after years of trying, we were able to succeed, and Slice became pregnant. And like I said, we knew it would be difficult because of course, she has things like her myasthenia gravis and other complications that the doctors had warned us about, right? And everything was going superb, and then one day it wasn't, right? So I'm doing all this in one take to try to be real, so I apologize ahead of time if it isn't as smooth.
First of all, I am so sorry. I lied to all of you. I'm so sorry.
I wouldn't say you lied. I think you withheld some information.
Okay. I withheld information.
But
maybe a lot of information.
But for a reason.
Yes.
Right.
For a good reason.
So we'll kick started here now. And this whole video is going to be kind of a timeline of events, right? So not a lot of different things, kind of just explaining what we have gone through. But we learned a lot of different things over the past couple months. And last year, December, it was Slice's birthday. The night before, we went to a Magic game. I got box seats. The bank had given me for performance and things like that. And we went out, had a great time. Magic won. We having good food, sweets, hanging out with some cool people. And then that night we got home. It was cold.
It was really cold. I remember because I had to walk back to the car.
Right. Yeah. We had to walk far back to the vehicle that night, and it was very cold.
I mean, not overly far, but
it was cold.
But it was cold, so it seemed far.
Because I was like, oh, it won't be cold, so I wore a little thin jacket. Wrong. It also didn't help that the AC was breaking down at the same time. The heat, right? The heat was going out that time too. We didn't know it. But anyway, that night Slice started to feel a little uneasy. She was like, I need Benadryl ASAP, right? Or something for her allergy.
Yeah. Which I typically don't take Benadryl because
right.
It'll put me to sleep. So
right. And then at the same time, as far as taking care of the baby, things like that. So we didn't have it in the house, and I bolted out the door, jumped in the truck.
I was throwing up. I guess I was just throwing up whatever was in my system. Which I guess it's common in pregnancy to throw up. However, I never had morning sickness or technically any time sickness as people call it. So I was throwing up and I hopped into bed. I guess quite literally hopped into bed.
Bed is
a little high. Yeah. So I hopped into bed and then I just felt like a gush of water. I thought I probably like peed myself.
Yeah.
So 5 minutes later, I had blood everywhere. So I'm like, okay, like something's happening, obviously.
I pretty much picked her up, said we're going right now, got her inside the truck, bundled her up warm as we could, and just took off to the closest hospital. Pulled up to one hospital.
Oh, we don't have an ultrasound.
They don't have an ultrasound.
Why are they at a hospital? I don't know.
But beyond that point, drive down the street like another 10 minutes, pull into another hospital. They don't have an OB on staff. Okay. Drive another 15 minutes down the road, find one, right? And we were taken in right away. There was nobody else there.
They took blood work and stuff.
Mind you, this is all on her birthday. Like, we were supposed to go out to dinner and everything and wake up.
This is like 5 o'clock in the morning.
5 o'clock in the morning, right? Getting ready for the day to start. But yeah.
So
blood work.
I know. I remember they're like, "What's your birthday?" I'm like, "Today." So they took my blood work, and then they also eventually took me to do an ultrasound, which you have to go to do alone.
Right. I couldn't be in the room.
So imagine how I felt. I like being wheeled away, like a couple floors away, alone. And then that comes back. My levels were all okay. Like I was fine. And then they were like, "Yeah, like the baby's fine."
The baby had a good heartbeat. They said there was no signs of distress.
Right. Yeah.
And the only thing they worried about, they said, was her fluid is a little bit low. Right? I was like, okay, maybe it was the part of the pee. Right? They didn't say nothing. And they said,
they were like, "Oh, just follow up with your OB
right.
when you get a chance, but everything else is fine." Of course, when you have bleeding and pregnancy, there's only one way that they will ever describe it. And
yes.
So what they said was I had like a threatened miscarriage, and that's what they call every bleeding experience in anyone's pregnancy when they don't know why.
Yeah. Tried to call the OB, but this is New Year's weekend. Nobody's open, right? No problem. New Year's comes and goes. We call. They say, "Oh, sounds okay. You know, heart rate's good. Just wait till your next appointment, which is in 2 weeks." Okay, no problem. We fast forward 2 weeks now. Fast forward 2 weeks. This is the middle of January. We're already feeling uneasy as it was because every day was something, right? And the thought of the unknown. We get into the ultrasound room. We see the same tech who told us and told me that I was going to be a dad a couple months before. She looks at it, and I'm looking at her, and I could see her eyes change, but she can't say anything. In that moment, I knew something was not feeling good. It says the amniotic fluid is extremely low. Now, mind you, 2 weeks ago, the doctor in the ER who said, "Oh, it was a little bit low," right? They really can't see everything. They're not designed, right? I guess you can say, to handle those kinds of cases. In layman terms, the doctor basically said she want the bag bus.
Which I didn't find out that until I got to the hospital.
When we got to the hospital, we got into triage. I felt sorry for the vehicle that day. I mean, I don't know, I probably still have a ticket somewhere, but pull into the hospital, get her in, we wait, and it's an agonizing wait. And, big up to my little sister, Shreya, downstairs, because she came through and just offered her support and everything and just calmed us, right?
They did their tests.
They did their tests.
Yeah, they do like a swab test and all that to like see what the liquid is, and they do like an ultrasound, which of course you go and do the ultrasound by yourself. So we were quite separated for many times.
And I was on my hands and knees. I just didn't even know what to think, because in that moment you're in the dark. They come back in. They explain that this is what they call Pprom, which is
So it's Pprom.
Pprom, that's what I was going to
because
next.
of our gestational
right.
age.
So Pprom is premature rupture of membrane. Pprom is preterm rupture of membrane, right? So usually Pprom, P-R-O-M, is from 32, about 32 weeks if the water break, right? This happened before that. We were only 14 weeks pregnant, and they gave us the options. And the options were pretty much everything that you could imagine being the worst. We were told that there's no hope. We were told that all the odds are stacked against you. And we were told that you're young yet, you can always try again. And my argument was, there's a heartbeat. My argument was, I can see my child swimming around as best as they can. What do you mean? Explain this to me. And that's when they explained it as this. Think of a balloon and your baby swimming around. When the bag busts, it shrinks. And with that, baby Pine would have no way to grow, to stretch, the lungs to expand, and all of that stuff. No.
Right.
So basically the plan at that point was, A, do you continue and hope for the best, knowing the possibilities of abnormalities, knowing the possibility of complications, and knowing the possibilities that the likelihood is against you in every way, shape, and form. And we were like, well, we want to fight. We weren't giving up any hope. I'm sorry, guys, I told y'all. Just thinking back, this is the first time we're actually talking about this. It took us a while. So, it hit us very hard. And we had to continue our daily life, I have work. She has work. We tried to keep her off her feet as much as possible. Shout out to, I guess, the bank, because they let her try to keep off her feet. I tried to keep her home as much as we could. I would say, everything that we researched, there was a chance, rare but slim chance, that the bag would seal itself, right? The membrane.
But it depends on
it depends on a lot of things.
Where you ruptured and if it would happen. It's the smallest chance ever. And
there's no real reason to why it ruptured. The doctors
tell me that because of course, like, I sent off the placenta to be examined and stuff, and that came back fine.
Yeah, so they think that baby just kicked.
Yeah,
Jackie
they're
Chan style.
assuming that baby Pine just kicked that part. And of course, for anyone else who's gone through pre-prom or is going through pre-prom, obviously it's nothing ever that you did.
Nothing. There was nothing you could have done any different.
Some people are sleeping.
Yeah.
And this happens, which
some people sneeze and it happens. But yeah, other than that, a lot of fluid, a lot of hydration.
I don't know how I was able to drink that much water. I was so afraid I was gonna get water poisoning.
For real, she had jugs, and we would just fill it two or three times a day.
I actually still have. Oh, it's right there.
Oh yeah, that white jug that you see over there, way in that corner. And we would just have her chugging. I felt bad. I felt like I was waterboarding the gal.
It was really hard because if you know me, although I drink water, I don't drink 2 bottles a day.
She had to change her entire diet.
I was drinking 4 to 8 bottles of water a day, and that does not include the coconut water that I had to drink, the body armor that I had to drink.
That was all me.
What else? The Gatorades and all of that. So
just for weeks, and that's why you saw her. We saw some pictures with the belly making the cheese roll. All of this was happening inside that time frame, and then about 8 weeks had passed. Right, the doctor, and we had a couple different doctors. The first guy, he was very negative. Doctor negative, right? I understand where he's coming from when I look back on it, but there was just it was just very black and white, right? And even though we were presenting cases of things that were good, still negative.
He was like, no, that
doesn't happen. The process he wanted was to put her in the hospital when she reached 22 weeks and not come out. Stay in your room, stay on your bed, only to pee and get back in bed. That was it. Got in touch, got a second opinion, right? It was the right thing to do. And, he agreed with us, Dr. Desai, and he kind of kept us going on this, just checkups and seeing how she feels, etc. And trying to see.
My thing was, of course, I wanted to put the baby's health first, but in order to do that, I had to put myself first. Yeah. And I knew that if I was in the hospital from the beginning, of course, I can't get to eat everything that I'm supposed to be eating.
Correct. All the vitamins that she had.
I can't have them in the hospital.
I can't just sneak that in here. They gotta go through a security scanner. You know what I mean?
So, and then when you bring vitamins to the hospital, they chart it and then they bring it to me. Of course, we come so far from 14 weeks to now. They don't know how, but
every time they talked about it, they were just like, "You're nothing short of a miracle right now."
So I took my steroid shots. And that steroid shot was to help baby Pine's development.
Rapid help with
like the lung development, brain development, all that.
Because a lot of times during the ultrasounds, obviously the fluid, you really can't see fluid there, but we could see like baby Pine was peeing, right?
There was fluid in stomach and in bladder. So that means that baby Pine was drinking the fluid, peeing it out, and vice versa, because that's how it works. It's just a cycle. So that was good.
Right. So, making the own.
We did rebake some fluid. It was never a lot. I never got more than 2
centimeters.
Centimeters.
Yeah. Normal range, by the way, is I think 5 and above.
5 is still low, but
right. 5 is like a low normal. Anything above, I think like a 10 is considered too much.
Right.
You're drowning type of thing.
And for those who have seen some of the pictures that I did post, yes, that's why I actually didn't look
pregnant.
Right, because once my water broke, my belly went with it.
Flat. Right. And then listen, hold on, before we go any further, I just want to say that there is a happy ending with all this. And if you hear some special commentary in the back right now, you know who it's coming from, because somebody wants to add their own 2 cents to this story. Anything else, boss? Okay. So we get to we're going along, doctor got their plan in place. We had come to the realization that I would have to lock my wife inside of a hospital for 2 months with my child and wait to see what would happen next, which was tough to get to that point. But we packed a suitcase. We were ready to go. I know some people say get your to-go bag ready. That thing was packed.
We had like different types of to-go bags because we weren't sure
how long.
Yes. So
fast forward a little bit, and this is where it got interesting. Y'all remember when we went to Kite Shore the other day? Okay, so that, I guess you could say the fried rice was so good and the laumen was so good that night that baby Pine decided that they were ready to meet the chef.
Let me tell you guys something. My whole pregnancy, I wanted this food.
That's true. She asked for this food for almost every week, and we finally got to go. And that night, we saw Natalie, we had the food, we took food, went back by and hung out with my mom and dad for a little bit. And that night,
we got back home, everything was fine.
Everything was fine, normal, nothing. Then
get back home and go to pee, and I see blood again.
All I heard was, babe, I'm bleeding. And I'm like, huh?
Literally.
I'm like, you said what now?
So at that point in time, I felt pain that wasn't normal for me. It was like a pressure that I didn't have before.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is weird. I think we have to go now.
Yeah.
I really wasn't sure what the pressure was.
So I threw the bag, got her to the car. Her mom came with us, and again.
This was again like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Your body trying to sleep. I guess baby Pine was like, no more sleeping. That's it. Again, I felt sorry for the vehicle that night. And I flew down. And,
my poor car.
We could have stopped in Claremont, which was only half an hour away. But the only reason I said, let me just gun it and go, was the first doctor, Dr. Doom, and Gloom. Something hit me that night that he said. And he said, if something were to happen and you're driving here and that baby starts to come, and if you don't make it to this hospital in time, there is no chance.
Although the doctor was like, if something happens, because you live so far away from the hospital, like, obviously you gotta deal with it. But because I was like so in tune with everything that was happening, and because I was because I already researched everything and I already knew all the steps to take, I was like, I have to accept the choices that I've made, and I just had to do what I thought was best in that moment of time. And that's why I chose to stay home as long as I physically could, as long as I could, as long as it was safe for the baby.
Yeah. And and my biggest thing was, as long as she was okay and the baby was okay, I was riding whatever decision she wanted to go with.
Right. I moved to the 5th floor, which is antepartum.
Right. And then the doctors came in to check her, not her regulars, somebody else. He did another exam, and then he said, you're going into labor. What are you talking about? Right. Downstairs they said we weren't going into labor. How are we going into labor now? That was 20 minutes ago.
He was like, oh, well, you're 2 centimeters dilated now. Of course, I know. Anything can change when it comes to that age.
Right?
I get it.
So.
And I was like, wait a minute. How come downstairs I wasn't? Was it? Hold on. Hold on. We're back.
We're back. Sorry. Somebody was
Baby
awkward.
Pine had to eat.
Okay.
So yes, so I was 2 centimeters dilated at that point. And I'm like, okay, well, I wasn't dilated downstairs, you know? So now it went from being like a 24-hour, let's monitor you to, we're moving you to 3rd floor, which
is delivery.
2nd floor, which is labor and delivery.
Yeah. So puts her there, you know, we're on the monitor. I'm still being in a chair like this. Her mom is sitting right next to me like that with another chair. Because there's no bed or nothing in there. They wouldn't let her drink nothing, eat nothing.
Well, I wasn't technically in a bed. It was like a chair with like an extra piece that's like a bed, and it's the thing that you give birth in. And the reason why I wasn't allowed to eat or drink anything was because if I needed like a C-section, you can't.
Which that was the plan, you know, that the doctors had said more than likely she would need a C-section. You know, so we were kind of just prepared at that point. So the day goes by, nothing happens. They said, okay, we're gonna watch you for the next couple of days.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna have to change a diaper very soon, so let's see how far we can go. So she's on the 5th floor, antepartum again. They said, you know, after like 72 hours, we'll see how it goes, and then if anything, make the call. Are you going home, or you want to stay here and be admitted, right? So a couple of days go by, no changes. Her heart rate was good, and baby's heart rate was good.
I'm still only 2 centimeters. I have not moved.
Yeah. Nothing has changed.
No contractions.
No contractions, nothing. And then on the last day, you know, I had arranged for someone to pick her up. That way you could ride home easy. And she wakes up and she's just in pain.
As you can see, I'm alone again.
Just working on a little bit of motion over here. You laughing?
That morning, I woke up and I was in so much pain.
Like discharge day.
Yes, it was discharge day. I was supposed to go home. I woke up, I was in pain. You know, I told my nurses like, hey, like I think I'm having contractions again. They put like the monitor on because they do that every day anyway. And my contractions did not pick up on the monitor, so they actually didn't believe me. The nurses came, like they checked on me. They're like, no, like you're fine. Of course, a couple hours passed and Baby Pine was like, I'm not waiting anymore. We're not going home. We're not getting discharged today. So Baby Pine made its entrance. We did it like all on our own in my antepartum room. So we never made it to labor and delivery. I did not have the C-section. And that I had a really good team of nurses and doctors though, who stayed with me and who took care of Baby Pine right away.
Yeah, so like while that was going on, I was on FaceTime because I had to work that morning, and she kept telling me, she was like, you need to get here, like I don't feel good. So I left work and I started driving. I packed the bag. Somebody would just pack a bag, right? Because I was actually closer to the hospital if I had just left straight from work. But I was like, let me just go home, pack a bag, and then go. And then I don't know what it is about that day. It takes us exactly like an hour from the house to the hospital. Everybody decided to drive on the road and crash on the road that day. So I'm driving coming. I see what's going on FaceTime. They bring in a pastor. The pastor starts praying for me because thinking something's gonna happen the way I'm driving.
Shout out to Chaplain Jen. She's out.
But with that being said, yes, Baby Pine is here. Baby Pine came very early. A matter of fact, about 3 months early, and has been in the NICU. All right, the Neo Intensive Care Unit, and big up to Winnie Palmer Hospital because anywhere else we don't think we'd be having this conversation here today. But I know a couple hours after everything settled down, we were able to go down and see Baby Pine, and it was tough. It was a very tough sight. You know, if you've ever seen a baby in the NICU, you know what I'm talking about. But to know that Baby Pine wanted to fight and be here, I don't know if it's the kite shore or we, but yeah. So we've been on this journey now for the past couple months, and that's why you really haven't seen Slice. And kind of she's just been in the back, right in the shadows. Every day we come here, we spend our day here some people said I look like she pregnant and I get fucked, right? It's because I've been studying. I come home, we change clothes, drive straight here. We don't eat till sometimes 11 o'clock at night. Drive back home, wash, rinse, repeat. Why? Because of this, right? And there's no other place we'd rather be. But you know, I'll tell you, the journey, I don't think I could have made or been on this journey with anybody better. So thank you.
Oh.
You hear me trying to be cute? I'm you.
Baby is like, well, what about me?
Yes, you too. But we thank everybody wholeheartedly for all the support, and we'll go into this conversation a little bit more. Just know that this is something that's very real. For those who have been through it, we know what you went through. For those who are going through it or trying, to conceive, feel free to always reach out, because we're here to lend an ear and to give support, because we've seen it all. We have seen it all. When I say we have seen it all in the past couple months, we have made friends in this building that we'll never be able to take their child home, and we're coming close to the time, by the grace of God and determination, that baby Pine should be home soon, right? So we just ask that everybody just keep up the same good vibes. I apologize. We apologize wholeheartedly if we offended anybody.
I'm sorry.
We really didn't feel it was the right time to just let everyone know that of what had happened, right? And we were still collecting our thoughts and trying to go through this ourselves, and we still are. But
as you can see, we're still in the hospital. We're in a different room now. We're not in level 4 anymore, which is obviously.
Yeah, you're missing the point. It all started on cloud 9. Now we're on cloud 11. If you know, you know.
We are no longer in level 4 NICU.
Yeah.
We're now in a room where we're able to stay with the baby, be here, feed the baby.
We're here night and day now.
The baby.
We could treat baby Pine like a baby.
Not that we were not doing all that beforehand. We have, but the only difference is we were never allowed to sleep at the hospital. So
I mean, up until a couple of days ago, you're talking a bunch of wires, cables, face mask for breathing, tubes for medication, tubes to eat. Yeah, and just thinking back all those in my head, man. But we're here now. Again, we're moving in the right direction, right? Again, we apologize if we offended anybody, but at this time, we just felt it was not in the best interest of our family, and for the sake of our child, to be putting all of that out there, because we just wanted to protect our child, right? And we will, when we are home and safe, we will give you that update. But for right now, we just ask that you continue on with the good prayers, the good energy, and good vibes, because that's all we could ask for, man. Come a long way, and we're excited that we can say that we're almost there. So Slice has been through, I don't know how you've done it, but thank you for bringing my child safely. I will say that when baby Pine first came, they kept talking about not really having developed lungs, possibly not being able to breathe properly. Legs were bent in different ways. I tell you, baby Pine is turning into a karate kicker. Which is, I just get kicks in my face. And probably one of the loudest babies on this floor now.
We were lucky that although our doctors were like, XYZ, it's not going to be good, it's not going to be formed correctly, everything's fine.
Yeah. Babies are fighters. right?
Especially the tiniest ones.
Yes, the tiniest ones. I'll tell you this, you know, somebody said it way back when we were going through our support group, and it stuck in my head the entire time. But when there's heartbeat, there's hope. And that kept us going this whole way through. Don't get me wrong, the baby has given us a lot of scares, a lot of sleepless nights. You know, some days were good, some days bad, right? But when there's heartbeat, there's hope. And we're about there. So thank you to everybody. You know, those who know. And I will say that Baby Pine has gotten blessings and prayers from Winnipeg over across the pond to England, Holland, India, back across to Guyana, and straight up and down the East Coast, and even further outside. So, you know, from every masjid, mandir, church, synagogue, all of you guys, thank you. So we'll leave you here because we know this was a little bit lengthy. This really has been just an explanation of our Pprom journey and our Nicu journey. Almost home, you know, and we'll give you that grand reveal or a grand welcoming home here soon, right? But all up to the boss. So, you know, we're coming close to the end of the journey, right? Our Nicu journey, and we can never give thanks enough to, again, everybody that have sent good vibes our way, but also to the amazing people here at Orlando Health and Winnie Palmer, right? To the respiratory team, to, oh my God, the occupational therapy team, physical therapy team, but mostly to the nurses, you know. If you know,
they say that nobody knows the babies like their nurses because
that's true.
These babies belong to the nurses.
That's true.
Doctors are doctors, they know their stuff, but they don't know their babies like nurses.
I'm not gonna discredit no doctor, right? But the nurses, the job that they do, if you know a nurse, thank them, right? Especially for Baby Pine's nurses. Like, I'll tell you, from day one, I mean, man, they all took Baby Pine under their wing and have stayed committed. Especially, and he's crew here too. It's remarkable, you know, between Fatima, Jennifer, Dr. Stevens, which, by the way, is working on bringing and integrating and revamping NICUs back in Guyana. So that's something exciting to hear. So he's actually hoping to send Baby Pine home before he flies out to meet with the ministry and see about helping their program. But other than that, again, thanks to each and every one of you. But a big shouts to both of our families, our friends, those who knew, those who gave us that support, and the thoughts and everything else throughout this whole thing. You guys have been our rocks, but at the same time, the biggest rocks have been both sets of our parents, right? So kudos to y'all for everything that you do. I just want to take a quick second to really shout out the OG, my pops, because he actually won an award from Winnie Palmer for perfect attendance. He's here every single day to spend time with Baby Pine, from singing bhajans, doing prayers, changing diapers, and fighting some of these doctors for me. You held it down, Dad. You held it down. But again, on behalf of me, Pine, and Baby Pine, thank you, everybody.
Oh, I really want to shout out her primary nurses because they're awesome.
Go ahead.
And obviously, if you're her primary nurse, it took a lot for us to label you as that.
That's true.
To be able to have that titling, because if you're a primary nurse, you're the only one who's able to take care of the baby when you're working, if you're put on schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, you guys will see her Auntie Fatima, who is one of Baby's primaries.
They go to Auntie Fatima.
She is single.
You'll meet her soon. She's looking for a boyfriend. So if any friends looking for a nurse gal, you know.
As well as Nurse Janet,
Yeah.
And Nurse Nikki from level 4.
Level 4.
And Allie,
Nurse Ebony. Oh my God.
Alexis.
We've met so many people, and you know what? There was times where things were real rough, like where we got the scares of our life. So to that team, man, cool. Like they just kept their composure and they knew exactly what to do. So we thank you guys, right? With that being said though, we're gonna pause right here because we are getting prepped. I mean, I can show you here. I've got the car seat ready to go. No baby inside, just so that way y'all know. Right?
Thank you to the person who got us this car seat.
Yes, big up. We are coming close to the end, and you know, we've got so much more to show you guys. And again, when that time comes, you'll get to meet Baby Pine, right? Just know Baby Pine is safe here, happy, smiling, sassy. I wonder who Baby Pine got that from.
I don't know.
Right. Anyway, thank you guys so much for spending some time with us. Thank you for listening to this. Again, if this story, you know, we tried to keep it together, and that way y'all could know what we went through for the past couple months. It was not easy, so forgive us, you know, for anything. And if you're going through something like this or been through something like this and you need someone to talk to, we're always here to lend an ear, right?
If you're having a baby or had a baby, I'm here for you too, because postpartum does not end after you give birth.
But also to the dads, because it's not easy.
It's not easy for the dads.
Not easy for we, you know. So, hey, I'm there. So, right. With that, we thank you for your time. We thank you for all the love once more. Thank you for keeping us in your thoughts and your prayers, right? So, till next time, stay safe, stay locked in, and we'll see you real soon, right? Thank you.
You're welcome.